I'm Chanel and this is Spirited Stardust. So I thought I would try and participate in the Tarot in the Garden or Garden Arcana, something of that vein. It was created by Garden Goddess Tarot and Candy Soil and Soul. So basically you just wander in your garden and try and find correspondences to the tarot cards, and they've started with the Fool, the High Priestess and the Empress. I'm going to potter about and see if I can see any sort of symbolism of that in my garden. Okay, so down under it is currently the last weeks of autumn, so we are transitioning into winter. I don't have a whole lot to show you because my garden is sort of getting ready for slumber, but I'll do my best to see what I can find. So the starting card is the Fool, and for this I chose a dandelion because they sort of symbolize that optimism, that belief that whatever you wish will come true, new beginnings, hopes, and a bit of childhood naivety in a way. I also chose Alice in Wonderland. I think she is very symbolic of that, taking a chance, going down the rabbit hole, having the curiosity and a thirst for adventure, and just sort of finding your way as you go. Not really having a plan, but just being willing to take the leap anyway. Underneath, you can see I had a little fairy garden there as well, which is just another little bit of magic and youthfulness, which I also associate with the Fool. And then we've got the Magician, who normally is associated with roses, but my roses are very much slumbering and hibernating. So I decided to instead focus on the veggie garden, using the tools that I have and the willpower and the desire to bring into reality what it is that I wish, to manifest vegetables to eat, to feed my family. So I use the soil and my tools and water and seeds, all of it combined to end up producing food that we can all nourish ourselves with. So for the Magician, I'm going with the garden theme, growing your own food and all the planning that it takes, all of the utilizing of all of your talents and skills and the different elements combining to create something new. The next card is the High Priestess. So here I have an archway, as is often depicted on the High Priestess card. Growing next to it are some blackberries. But with the High Priestess, I've also chosen hellebore. This is the first winter rose that has come up, and Thea did mention that they were associated with Persephone, who is commonly depicted as the High Priestess. So on the Persephone vein, I've also done some mushrooms as sort of that link to the underworld, to peering beyond the veil. A lot of people use mushrooms in spiritual practices to sort of connect with that other side. So using the sort of sacred knowledge that one would get with the assistance of some other organisms on Earth that are not always seen in the above. And then we've got the Empress. So I've got a little statue of Gaia, but she reminds me of the Empress. She is a pregnant mother type, which is commonly what the Empress is depicted as, and fruits, mostly strawberries, seem to be associated with the Empress. So I've gone and videotaped all of the fruits in my garden to sort of symbolize the nourishing, nurturing, abundant, ripening sort of energy of the Empress. These are some Feijoas. That the tree came with my property, and it always just absolutely gives us a bountiful amount of Feijoas without doing anything. I didn't have to do anything. It was just there, and it just gives, and I don't have to tend to it. Sort of like the Empress. Everything sort of comes to her. She doesn't have to get off her throne. Here are some strawberry guavas. So these also, they kind of look like pomegranates a little bit. So I probably could have put them as the High Priestess one as well. But these are strawberry guavas, and once again, another tree that I didn't have to do anything for. They just came to me and were prolific. The Empress is also, once again, associated with motherhood. And here we have my handprints with my children's handprints on our little herb garden that I use to cook food for them. And the mother is a big archetype. Another one is Aphrodite. Aphrodite is commonly associated with the Empress, and the herb rosemary is one that the Greeks sort of used to associate with Aphrodite. I think it's called like Dew of the Sea. I can't remember the literal translation, but rosemary is also something that I would associate with the Empress card. And I thought I'd leave it on some pictures of some ravens. So I feed a family of ravens with like fruits that are sort of too spoiled for us, but that they eat. And they had some babies, so now there's 4 of them in total. They could be crows, I'm not 100% sure. I really find it difficult to tell the difference, to be honest with you, between a raven and a crow in Australia, but it's just more evidence of the nurturing, me nurturing something. And yeah, so these are just some magnolias in my garden, but there's not much else to show. Like I said, everything's sleeping, but I thought I would join in. It's something fun to do, and I hope that wherever you are having a bountiful morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.